Hello, everybody. How you doing today? I'm so glad to be here with you. It's been a long time since I've done an actual live stream. I mean, we've done a lot of the shows. Every week we put out the radio show. And we've done some fun videos with people. Very often, we're releasing a book, and I go live with those people. But I just wanted to come in, just you and I, and have some one-on-one time. I apologize. I have just a little bit of a cold. I don't know where it came from, but I'll try not to wipe my nose too often. I remember during COVID. This has nothing to do with what we're going to talk about, but it just came to my mind. I remember during COVID, I had a runny nose, and I did that, and someone was like, "He has COVID," and I'm like, "Well, if I do, then I've had it my whole life because." I've had allergies my whole entire life. So, no big deal, just one of those kind of things. But today I want to talk about joy. What is joy? Do you know what joy is? I invite you to join with me. Let's talk about joy for a little bit. Invite some friends. Let's sit down. Let's have, coffee, or depending on what time of the day it is, maybe you're going to have your lunch with me, what have you. And let's talk about what is joy. For those of you that don't know, or this is the first time you're seeing me, hi, my name is Steve Kidd. I'm a third generation minister, an international best-selling author of 22 books and counting. Yes, I know I've been saying and counting for a while now. I've got two of them that are completely done that I need to put out, and several others that are pretty well done too. I just need to kind of get off it and get the publishing process of it done, which I do all the time for everybody else, but I've just not done it on my own stuff. No excuses, just is what it is right now. But I really, really look forward to talking to you today, to come to you here on, live, or if you're listening later on the replay. I know this is going to come exactly when you need it to be able to help you have joy today. Now, there's a couple of elements to joy that I want to break down for you, and then I want to talk about what is joy. First of all, I want to let go of all of the past, present, future situations, and let's focus just on right now. The past, I love how my friend Ernie Villanueva always said it. Yesterday is a canceled check. Tomorrow is a promissory note. Today is the only legal tender you can spend. I've taken that a little further, and those of you that have listened to the radio show or heard me speak before know that I talk all the time about now. Yes, about definitely maximizing while it's called today, but focusing on right now. We can't change not even 5 minutes ago. It's in the past now. It's was. When we say now, by the time we say the word now, it's then, right? And so we need to really be focused on this moment. What could I do right now? Maybe what you're doing in this moment, maybe the very best thing you can do in this moment is just to simply take a minute and sit down and listen to me. I have a weight loss um, diet protocol, is really what he wants it to be called. John and Chelsea Jubilee. They're amazing people, and I listened to a video that they pre-recorded that they have for us to listen to every morning. They run anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes, and it just really gets the day started for me. It keeps my mind in the right place, and I'm hoping that this hits you just at the right moment, at the right time to give you what you need right now in this moment, that we can focus on right now, and we can help together to find joy. Now, for some of you, and I've even found myself a little bit today being in this boat, so don't feel guilty about it. But for some of you, you may not be feeling very joyful, very full of joy. You may, in fact, not really feel like joy even sometimes is real. I understand that feeling. I think we've all been there from time to time. I'm glad to say that I'm not in that total hopeless, joy doesn't exist place. But it's one of those kind of days where you can lose track of what joy is because you may not be in giddiness. It may not be your birthday and somebody may not have, come up and given you a present right now today. It may just be a random day of the week, and that there's nothing good, nothing bad happening. It's just one. Or maybe some stuff has been happening in your life. Maybe you're feeling stress and pressure and other things. Often, and I've said this before, for sure on my lives and also on the radio show, there is this really cool part of our brain. And I hope that I can help you see it because our brains literally cannot be in stress, worry, anger, those kind of quote unquote negative emotions, and be in service at the same time. And there are times, and again, I'm not saying I'm having a really, really bad day, just, a very medium, just kind of a day, right? Right now. But whether then or the times that I'm really stressed out, I very often come on here and do lives on purpose to reach out into your life and hopefully do something, even just a little something, that can help you in even the smallest sort of a way. And then I know that when I focus on the serving, all the me stuff, all of that stuff, it just can't exist at the same time while I'm focused on service. And so that's an important little clue for you. And sometimes that doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to be led to happy, to giddy. It very well may mean that we will just simply not feel as stressed. It may mean only that it just reduces it a little bit. But during that moment, when you're really focused on giving, if we step outside of ourselves and really focus on that task, I can promise you that in those times, you won't be feeling that. But now you're thinking, but Steve, that seems like a real segue that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with what is joy. So what is joy? You see, joy is different than happiness. They're two separate words. Often they become interchanged. And a lot of times when we think of joyful, we think of happy and not really joyful. But what is joy? I've asked a lot of people that have been guests on my show that, and I've gotten a variety of different answers. But I still think, and I forget exactly who said it, because I would totally give them credit for it. I know it wasn't me originally. But I love this definition of joy. Joy is the ability to believe in the light, in the worst and darkest place of your life. I was doing an interview actually yesterday, and we were talking about faith, about the fact that, as Hebrews says so accurately, faith is the evidence. Faith is the substance. Faith is the evidence of the things that you hope for. It's the substance of the things that you cannot see. It's your ability to believe that is that tangible thing that you can hold on to. And joy comes from our ability to be able to take that faith and put it into action. Joy is when we look at our faith, our ability to believe, put our faith, our trust, our hope, our belief into, to tangibly hold on to our ability to have faith in something that's intangible. And when we're able to exercise that faith, that's where joy comes from. Again, the Bible says, weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes up in the morning. How is that possible? How many of you, I know I have, how many of you experienced those nights where you cry all night long? I mean, I hope some of you have never experienced that deep, I may die level of crying, where your whole heart and soul is pouring out, and the only thing that's left is tears, until you get to a point where even the tears no longer are there. You just can't. And that can go all night long. It can go for days. Usually that level of crying can't last for more than a few hours. You usually turn from the sobbing to something even deeper. And those of us that have experienced it, you know what I mean. And those of you that haven't, I'm so glad for you. And I hope you never do. But though that happens, the next day comes. It feels like the end of the world. When we were going through that, it absolutely felt like all was lost, that we were done, that there would never again be a tomorrow morning. There's even been times, for some of us, where we hoped and prayed that this pain would end and that we could simply be finished, that we could have done all that we need to have done in this world, and we can now be done. That deep, heart-wrenching level of pain that feels like in that moment it's never going to stop, that is too intense that I would diminish it by saying to you, oh, well, just go out and try to serve somebody else. I mean, it's great if you can, but when we're in those literal depths of despair, sometimes it's hard or even impossible to move to that other side and help somebody else and step outside of ourselves. The pain is just too deep. But what can be there with us, even in that deepest, most heart-wrenching of moments, is joy. How's that possible, Steve? How could you possibly be joyful when you're praying for death? When you've sobbed so hard there are no more tears left? When you can't even make a sound anymore because the pain is just too much? How could there possibly be joy? And yet, joy is still there. Sometimes it shows up in the tiniest of whispers. Sometimes it's that next time you inhale when you kind of really don't want to. Joy is that moment when you're laying there praying for death, when you're done, when you're through, when it's over, when the pain is too much. Joy is there and allows you to have that stupid, random, stray thought. To take the next breath. Joy is there when you've gone through the entire night of despair and the sun rises and that little peak of light lets you know that even though you were praying for death, you made it into another day. But joy is also there when in that depth of despair, you can say to yourself, or even scream to God, and He's totally okay with you doing that, I will go on. I'm going to make it. Maybe it even comes out angry and pissed off, and you're just, oh my gosh, look out, world, because here comes some fury. Guess what? That's actually joy rising up inside of you. It's the promise for that next breath, that sun to rise the next morning, for there to be hope and possibility and promise when there is none at that moment in your life, or at least it feels that way. You see, faith is the evidence. It's the substance. It's that thing. And joy rises up. You see, we don't need joy when we're happy and giddy. We don't need anybody to remind us how beautifully warm the sunshine is when we're out swimming in the pool, laughing and joking and having a great time. Joy is that thing that comes in the depth of our despair and helps us breathe. Joy is the ability to say, and yet, I'll go on. You know, you think of the Gloria Gaynor song, I will survive, right? There are so many songs and poems and personal testimonies from people that talk about their ability to take the next step, to try again, to attempt when all they've ever seen is fail, to believe for success. You know, it's accredited to Thomas Edison. When asked how come he's failed so many times at making the light bulb, and depending on who you look it up, I've heard this phrase quoted many different ways, but the basic version of it is, I haven't failed at making the light bulb 10,000 times. I've found 10,000 ways that it doesn't work. See, that's joy. The ability to be able to say that in that moment, that's joy rising up and saying, I may have failed every moment of every second, but I'm still here. I still believe. I'm still going to try. Maybe you own a company. Maybe things aren't the way you want them to be. Maybe it's really bad. Maybe it's just okay. Joy, I want to see it rise up in you right now. To believe things are going to get better. People around you, they're probably going to even accuse you of being a fool. Tell you, why don't you just give up? It happened to Jesus when he was on the cross. One of the two thieves, one asked him if he would save him and let him go to paradise with him. And the other thief said, if you're really God, why don't you climb down off of this cross and save us? The doubters are always there. They always are there to tell you you're a fool, to tell you to quit trying. But joy is always there too. It rises up within you and it begins to flood and fill you. And next thing you know, you have hope. See, faith was the evidence that you held on. It's that thing you can take into court. It is the substantial, provable proof that that thing you hope for is real. Joy is that strength inside of you that carries you, that takes you through. I've often said, and usually I say it in a funny way because it is kind of funny. The problem with breakthrough is nobody wants to talk about the breaking or the through. But joy is with us in the midst of the through. When we're completely broken, when there is no more possibility, joy is there, taking us through. Joy is the ability to look back and see all those places that we stepped. Joy carries us to a place of purpose where then we can show the people behind us. There's a place there to step. There's a place there to step. I know this swamp is horrible. And I know that you're hurting in a way that very few people will ever understand. But I get it. I know where you're at. I've been there. Let me help you walk through it. Joy sends us back into the swamp we came through to rescue the person behind us. Joy allows us to go through the darkest of night and wake up to the most beautiful of dawns. In the northern hemisphere right now, it's summertime. It's winter for those of you in the southern hemisphere. But in the northern hemisphere, depending on where, how far north you live or how far south you live, it's typically fairly warm and nice outside right now. And if you go outside, the birds are probably singing. And if it's the evening, you might hear the crickets or the cicadas or other night creatures making their noises. And probably even at night, it's probably still pretty warm. Mid-July, most places all the way around the world. Yeah, I know some of you that live in the Pacific Northwest are like, no, it's raining today, like it does. And I get that. But it's that warm rain. It's not slushy rain. It's the kind of rain that is kind of fun to walk out in, right? And joy is the ability to be able to walk out into that rain and feel it on your face. And rather than being upset at the rain, you're happy to go out in the heat. And maybe you can only stay out there for a minute or two because it's just blaringly hot some places I know right now. But you can believe and you can feel the sun on your face. And you can allow joy to well up within you. What is joy? Well, in its most simple capacity, it's the ability to believe in light when you're in darkness. In a more advanced version, joy is the ability to get through. It's that thing that carries us. Sometimes it leads us to happiness and laughter and smiles. Sometimes it just leads us to a better day. That's joy too. So I want to hear from you. What is joy for you? What makes you joyful? Okay, and then what makes you happy? Two different things, right? Now we talked about the rain on your face and the sun on your face. And those are the joyful things that probably are going to lead you to happy. Or they may even be in times when the joy is just kind of a spring inside of you that you don't even recognize because times are good. That all you have is happiness, or you think. And there are those other times when you need that joy to get you through. And wherever you are, I applaud you today for the joy that has gotten you through every one of those moments, good and bad, to this moment. And I'd love to hear, what is joy for you? And what makes you happy? I hope until we're together again next time, you are happy, safe, warm, and loved, that you know how special you are, and that joy rises up within you, and that you have a great week.